A young man named Masa just finished his shower, so he decided to check his body in the mirror. However, his sister Chinatsu reprimanded him for being a narcissist. He then called her out for eating junk food early in the morning and coming to his room. Suddenly, they were called out by their mother for breakfast. She recommended foods that are high in calories, so he refused it. His mom then started ranting to his sister that he now hates his mom. On his way, he observed the girls playing tennis, but they suddenly called out someone, so he thought they were after him. But they're actually reprimanding another guy for taking photos. He then tried to leave, but another girl recognized him and confirmed that he was Masa, the new transferee, and they asked if he wanted to join them. So he answered that he was just admiring their determination, which makes the girl's heart go flustered. After it, he thinks that his life motto that everything depends on whether you're hot or not might be really true, so his plan may work after all. At the school, the other students talked about a guy confessing to the cruel princess. Suddenly, the cruel princess arrived and informed that guy she had her servant run a background check on him. She finds out that he likes gender swap books and that he has a single hair growing from the mole on his chest, so she decided to nickname him Molio. Inside the classroom, Masa suddenly woke up from a dream where a girl rejected him, so he was reprimanded by the class rep T for sleeping, but was also glad that he was easily adjusting to school. His classmate Kaju gave him calorie-rich bread for lunch, prompting him to plan extra workouts later. Suddenly, the cruel princess arrived looking for a guy named Akio, so she questioned Masa about Akio. Akio then raises his hand, and she calls him out for confessing to her that he likes her legs in shorts, so she nicknamed him Pudding Princess. Masa then questions what's wrong with her, so Kaju explains that she's also good at academics and beautiful. However, her personality is bad and she also hates guys. That's why she rejects them by giving them bad nicknames, and she was called the Cruel Princess. Her name is Ata, and she's the daughter of the head of the Atagaki group. After hearing her name, Masa cannot believe he met her so soon. Later, Masa started spying on her and questioning Kaju about Ata. So he answered that the person always with Ata is her maid Yoshino, and that Ata likes to eat lunch alone. After saying goodbye to her friends, Masa decided to tail her, but he couldn't find her and only saw Yoshino. So he decided to follow her and finally found Ata. However, a spider scared him, so he accidentally went inside. He immediately apologized to her and assured her that the size of her lunch boxes may be normal for athletic girls. So Ata explains that she can't eat like others because she has hypoglycemia, so she always has to make sure she gets enough sugar, or else her stomach will make noise. Before he left, she threatened him not to tell others about it. However, he uses it to become friendly with her. During PE, Kaju asks him about the rumors that Ata might fall in love this time because of him. But the truth is she just become more mean towards him ever since. Suddenly, he noticed Ata, but she told him to go back to his dog house. So he ended up getting hit by the ball, and a guy suddenly tells him not to be confident in himself. After class, Ata told Yoshino that she's hungry and ordered her to buy food. While waiting, the guy, Akio, who got rejected from her, showed up. He then took out a scissor to cut her hair, but Masa stopped it. And when Akio saw the blood, he left. Ata then asked if he was alright, but he answered that he was fine. However, it actually hurts that he wants to pass out, but he still assured her not to be sad because she's cuter when she's smiling. Back then, Masa was actually a fat rich boy, so he was often bullied, but Ata became his savior. However, she rejected him and called him a pig's foot. Now, he sought revenge by making her fall in love and dumping her after he revealed his true identity. The next day, T greeted him and noticed his wound, but he reasoned that he was just clumsy. He also met with Akio and assured him that everything was fine. After that, he checked out his locker and found a letter. Kaju thought it was a love letter, but the word pig's foot was written, so Masa thought he was already found out. Masa started speculating who could be the person that sent him the letter. He first speculated that it might be Ata, who's waiting for the right moment to embarrass him. And he also doubted Kaju. Suddenly, he heard others talking about pig's foot. He thought it's about him, but they're just actually talking about lunch. He started thinking that if others found out about his past, he would be bullied again. So he decided to find unknown X who sent the letter, because if Ata finds out his identity, his revenge will fail. Even after he got adopted by his grandpa and changed his surname, all of those 8 years of effort will turn to waste. Suddenly, the other students started racing for lunch, including Ata's maid, Yoshino. However, she couldn't get through and ended up being thrown away. So Masa helped her to get up, but she said that she's already dead and cannot buy the food. so she asked him to buy them instead. After that, she checked out the breads and tried to leave, but he stopped her and asked to come with him, as he need to find the unknown ex. Still, she immediately left, so he stopped her and explained that because he helped she should pay it with her body, but he won't do something that gets her in trouble. On their way, Masa thought that Yoshino is just like Cinderella getting bullied by her wicked stepmother. At the storeroom, Ada scolded Yoshino for being late. While eating, she suddenly choked, so Yoshino immediately left. Masa then greeted her and informed her that Yoshino left to buy drinks for her, and that he just dropped by to say hi. Ada then asked about his wound and told him that he doesn't want him to get involved. He answered that it just stings, but he's actually using what happened to gain her trust. By the way she talks, he realizes Ada is not the unknown ex. Suddenly, Yoshino arrived, but she accidentally tripped and showed her underclothes, so Ada pierced Masa's eyes. While Yoshino handed out drinks to Ada, she also gave one to Masa. But Ada doesn't like that Yoshino is kind to everyone and only wants her to be kind to her. Masa then tells her that he also can't be kind to everyone because he wants to be someone that Ada can rely on more than Yoshino. After it, Masa thinks that Ada might be blushing now after what he said and did for her, like in the books. Later, he was thinking about getting Ada's email when he accidentally stepped on a trap. A girl showed up and called him Pig's Foot and asked if he was trying to get back at Ada. However, it was actually Yoshino. He then asked how she knew his old nickname since she wasn't with the past kids that bullied him, even with Ada. But she's actually there, she used to be at Otagaki's mansion. Yoshino answered that her family has been a servant to the Otagaki family for 300 years. He then thought that she's not a Cinderella at all, and Ada is actually her master to serve. So his revenge has finally ended. He then tells her that she can laugh, but he doesn't regret giving Ada her own medicine. However, she agreed with what he was doing and even offered to help him. The next day, Masa continued spying on Ada, but he doubted Yoshino's help, so he decided to continue his plan on his own by getting her email first. On his way, T noticed him and thought he was lost, so they both went together. He then decided to practice by asking her email, but he realized that he has 0 contacts. So he immediately left and asked Kaju if the number of his contacts would be shared with others, but Kaju assured him that it wouldn't. Meanwhile, T was informed that the school beautification committee lost a member and is looking for someone to fill in. Masa then volunteered to do it. Later, he met Ada there, but she ignored him. While cleaning, he kept thinking about her not reacting to him, so it might be that someone will never fall in love with him. Suddenly, T showed up to apologize for burdening him with work, but he assured her that it was fine. She then asked him to go out for a movie with just them. He immediately thought that it would lead to a date, but he reminded himself about his main objective and didn't answer her. So T says she understands that he's busy and has left. His expression then changes after he finds out that he's actually popular. However, Ada was actually there to give him a new bucket. He sensed that she might be jealous, so he says that he doesn't care if another girl he doesn't like asks him out, because he would prefer Ada to do it instead. He then asked her out, and she answered thanks, so he immediately asked for her email, and she agreed, but she explained that her phone is being repaired and that they will give her email on their next duty. However, she didn't show up and left him a letter telling him to follow every instruction. After following all of it, she lastly asked him to look out at the window, and he saw her holding a banner that she declined. Suddenly, Yoshino shows up and tells him that if he entrusts everything to her, he can easily go on dates with Ada. She then took his phone and added her contact information. Inside the classroom, T informed the class that there would be a proficiency test if one student failed. The whole class needs to take supplementary classes. She then commended Masa, saying that the test would be easy for him, but he pointed out that Kaju seems to have it easier. Kaju then shared that he only got a single digit in their test, so he's hoping to get a double-digit grade this time. The two then find out he's dumb and bound for supplementary classes. Masa then decided to help Kaju study. At the study hall, Masa questioned Kaju about how he ended up entering the school. Meanwhile, Ada and Yoshino are also having the same conversation, so Masa greeted them, and Kaju assured Yoshino that they're the same. That's why Masa is teaching him. Ada then says that she didn't expect Masa to teach anything after falling for her tricks. Masa remembers what Yoshino told him, so he decided to bet against Ada by having Yoshino and Kaju compete to get the higher scores on the proficiency test. If he wins, Ada will go on a date with him, but if Ada wins, she can give him a nickname, and he'll stick that on his back while he walks through the school. Ada agreed but also added that he would also pay for her lunches. Back at home, Yoshino asks Ada if she won't study because she heard that Masa got perfect scores in the transfer exam. So if she ends up losing to him, she'll support her in dating guides. But Ada didn't agree and asked Yoshino to just study hard. Meanwhile, Masa plans on calling Yoshino, but he's nervous because it's his first time calling a girl. Suddenly, Yoshino called him, so he asked if she was going to help him with the bet. But she answered that she couldn't because she had her own timing. After a test, Kaju worries that if all of his scores are low, he will also get a nickname from Ada. Later, Masa and Kaju continue their studies just to beat Ada. The next day, they only have one exam left. Kaju then asked him to eat lunch, so he decided to buy drinks. On his way, he saw Yoshino buying drinks, and she apologized to him. She also gave the drinks to him, but he asked if it was okay to cheer him on, and she answered that it didn't matter. After lunch, the test started, but his stomach suddenly hurt, so he wondered if Yoshino put laxatives in the drinks in order to assassinate him on the test. After the test, he immediately went out to confront Ada, but he got the wrong person, and he was informed that Ada was absent because of a fever. Suddenly, Chinatsu texted him that their mom put a spoiled egg in their lunch. Masa is on his way to his date with Ada after Yoshino informs him that Ada will meet up with him for a date. However, he saw her dressed in cosplay. Suddenly, a man asked for a picture with her, so Masa approached them. She then gives the man a nickname and asks Masa to go, but he stopped her because of her dress, so she explained that it's a dress code for a date. Later, he called Yoshino about the dress, but she answered that Ada believes everything she says, so he must use it to his advantage. He also asked why she was helping him, but she didn't answer. Masa then apologizes to Ada for not knowing the dress code and points out that she admits it's a date. However, she explains that she's only doing it because Yoshino informed her that he became depressed after failing the exam. The two then watched at the cinema that she rented out. But at the end of the movie, she became scared stiff and revealed that she didn't know it was horror because Yoshino planned everything. After it, they ate, and he wondered why she ate a lot, so he questioned her about whether it was natural. But she answered that it started when something bad happened to her in the past. Suddenly, a little girl approached them and asked Ada why she dressed weirdly. She then explained that it's not weird and is a ritual for a date. So Masa took her out and informed her that it wasn't normal clothing. She then went to a clothes shop and screamed from embarrassment, so Masa immediately checked on her. But he saw her only in her underclothes, so he got punched and passed out. He then remembered the time he met Ada, when he perceived her as strong and arrogant but also kind. Ada then noticed that he had already woken up, so she decided to go home. And Masa apologizes for what happened. After that, he called Yoshino, and she informed him that the reason she's helping him is because she wants Ada to re-examine herself, and if she gets rejected by him, she might be humbled, and Yoshino will benefit from it. He then thanked her for helping and called her master. During the night, Masa started studying the Rose-Eyed manga in order to get his revenge. During class, he uses what he learned to make Ada notice him. He also did it when it was raining and gave her an umbrella. However, Yoshino informs him that Ada thinks of his actions as creepy. She also suggested that he stop pushing and mix things up by acting cold towards her. Back at home, he continued reading the manga and found out that the heroine figured out her feelings for the guy when he acted coldly towards her, but he worries that it will backfire on him. The next day, he met Ada and almost greeted her, so he immediately ignored her. He also did it during the class and ignored her. Later, he thought Ada had finally missed him, but she just ignored him, so he tried to approach her, but Yoshino stopped him. He then continued acting coldly towards Ada, but he also worries that it might continue. On his way, Ada ambushed him and asked to talk, but he refused and tried to leave, so she threw the umbrella at him and stopped him from getting away. He thought he had finally escaped, but she grabbed his tie and brawled with him, so he thought he'd never experience being the protagonist in the manga. However, she finally asks why he's ignoring her and becomes shy. He then answered that he was just waiting for her to tell him that. She then asked why he did it and his reason for liking her. However, he doesn't know what to say and just says that he likes everything about her and immediately runs away. He then told Yoshino what happened, so she suggests that he give her a love letter instead. However, Ada saw him putting it in her locker, so he gave it to her instead. But she just throws it away and says she despises him. Suddenly, Yoshino showed up, so Masa told her what happened and that Ada seemed different from yesterday. She then tells him to let her handle it because Ada won't listen to what he says because he doesn't know what he likes about her. At the park, Ada felt nervous about skipping class for the first time. But she also pointed out the fault to Masa after he forgot his umbrella yesterday, so she tailed him. And she finds out he's meeting with Yoshino and calls her master. So it made her irritated that he asked her out so many times but still met other girls. Suddenly, Yoshino arrived and revealed to her that she'd been meeting with Masa and he also called her. She then asked if Ada was sad about it. But she answered that she wouldn't be sad about boys anymore because they are all just liars, and it's impossible for her to ever like a boy, especially Masa. But Yoshino assured her that Masa only likes her and that it's obvious that Ada likes him too. However, Ada denied it to Yoshino, but she suddenly disappeared. On her way, she still feels irritated, and it might be because of her personality that she'd rather hurt other people than get hurt, and experience those hurt feelings again. But she's now unsure about Masa. Suddenly, she heard him shout to stop because she almost got hit by a car. He then scolded her and explained that he wouldn't know what to do without her. Suddenly, a girl apologized and checked on them, but she recognized Masa and hugged him. The girl explains that she's been praying to God to meet him. However, he has no idea who she is and explains that she might have picked the wrong person. Suddenly, she was called out by her bodyguard, Shidu, so she bid farewell to him. Ada then asked him who the girl was, but he answered that he also didn't know. So Ada got irritated and left. At the cafeteria, Masa competes with others to buy bread that Ada likes, to make it an offering to her so she'll listen to him. However, he was suddenly shot with marbles by Yoshino, who explains that Ada ordered her to keep Masa away. She then asked him what he did, so he explained about the girl. She then called him hopeless and reminded him not to interfere with the plan. After she left, he planned to talk to Ada, but he decided to just leave the food at the door. The next day, he didn't get enough sleep after figuring out who the girl was, but he actually thinks she's cute and his type. Suddenly, their teacher introduces a new transfer student. It's actually the girl, and she introduces herself as Nico. During break, Masa plans to talk to Nico, but the other girls keep surrounding her, so he ended up not getting to talk to her. The other boys felt envious of the girls getting all of Nico's attention, so they asked Kaju to blend in with them. But Masa volunteered to do it instead. He tried to approach them, but the girls squealed and informed him that Nico actually transferred because of him. She then clarified that he doesn't know about it, but she's actually indebted to him. She explained that 3 years ago, on Christmas, he acted kindly towards her and even complimented her. However, Masa has no idea who the guy is because he's still fat at that time. But the others are convinced that it's actually him, so he took her hand and rushed outside. We asked Nico to talk, but she suddenly got dizzy, and he noticed blood on her, so he panicked. But she accidentally dropped ketchup and found out that the blood was just ketchup. He then asked him why she told lies, so she finally explains that the true story is actually embarrassing, and she would like to keep it a secret between them. She then tells him that it doesn't matter that he doesn't remember her because it won't change the fact that she likes him. Masa thought it was a waste to reject her, but he reminded himself of the revenge, so he informs her that he already has someone he likes. She then asked who it was, so he took her to Ada's classroom. After seeing her, Nico went inside and told her that she envied her because of Masa's affection. However, a student opened the window, and the strong wind blew her skirt away. So Ada and Masa saw that she wasn't wearing underclothes. Nico immediately explains to Masa that it's her way of keeping her body healthy. Meanwhile, Ada asked Nico to get out, or she would go out instead. Masa tried to stop her and asked her to listen to him, but she didn't agree and accidentally hit their teacher. So they both got punished by cleaning the pool. Masa kindly asked Ada to immediately finish cleaning, but she just irritated him, so he hit her with water and called it an accident. Ada then tried getting back at him with a bucket, but she accidentally slipped and fell into the pool. He thought that it served her right, but he noticed that she looked like she was drowning and tried saving her. Ada then questions why he saved her, but he answers that his body only moves on its own, so she thought it was really the only reason. But he further explains that she won't believe him if he answers that he saved her because he likes her. So Ada then asked him to prove it by kissing her. Ada wants Masa to prove his intention by kissing her. However, he plans on doing the kiss after he rejects her. She noticed that he wasn't making moves, so she tried leaving, but he grabbed her. He then thought of her as a ham and attempted to kiss her, but she punched him. Suddenly, T and the others arrived and questioned them. so he explains that they're just splashing in the water. After it, Ada clarified to him that she accepts that he likes her so much that he doesn't know what to do with himself. Later, Nico approached him and offered him tea. She also showed him medicines that will keep his body healthy, but he explains that exercise is still the best. He then asked her why she liked him, because he plans on declining her if her answer is common, like what happened to him with Adha. However, she explains that she likes how modest he is and that he doesn't realize his charms. He then realized that she was tougher than he thought. Meanwhile, Yoshino thinks that Nico is a dangerous person, so she starts spying on her. But Shidu confronted her, and she immediately denied it. However, Nico informs Shidu that Yoshino is her acquaintance. She also asked Yoshino to stop acting because she knew she was doing her job. Yoshino then questioned her about why she was so concerned with Masa. She answered that it's because he saved her in the past, but Yoshino doesn't believe her because Masa already told her everything. Meanwhile, Masa arrived home. He heard noises and found out that Yoshino and Nico were inside, so he thought it wasn't his house, but his mother was in there, so he immediately grabbed Yoshino and questioned her. She explained that his mom noticed them wearing the same uniform as Masa. She thought they were his fans and was looking for him, so she immediately invited them home to cook dinner. He then apologized for his mom and asked them to leave before they saw anything dangerous. Suddenly, Nico also entered his room, so he immediately pushed her out and asked why. She answered that the food was ready, and his sister has also just arrived. During dinner, Chainatsu shared that she couldn't believe that Masa had friends come over because he was scared for others to know his past. Masa immediately shuts her mouth. While eating, Masa starts picking out his food while Nico takes tons of medicine. So his mom scolded her, but Chainatsu just laughs at them because they are alike. She then asked them to watch fireworks after, so Masa immediately disagreed, but the other girls were fine with it. While Chainatsu was setting off the fireworks, Yoshino shared that she doesn't like fireworks because she got traumatized when Ada used her in an experiment to figure out how many fireworks were needed to send someone into the moon. Masa then noticed that Nico looked charming while helping Chainatsu. Suddenly, his mom brought melons, so Chainatsu asks them to compete to see who can spit the seeds the farthest. Nico laughs at it, so Masa wonders if she's only a liar. After Nico finished changing clothes in Masa's room, she asked him if he wanted to go to her house, but he refused. After she left, he accompanied Yoshino to the main road, and she asked him to never fall in love with Nico. Meanwhile, Nico remembered what Chainatsu said and believes that she and Masa are really alike, while she looks at his photo that she stole. At school, the class was excited for the summer vacation. Suddenly, Ada showed up and scolded Masa for thrashing her desk with summer beach flyers. So she informed him that she already had plans to spend her summer at their island villa. She also invited Kaju to come, but he explained that he'd come if Masa was also there. Nico then wants to join because of him, including tea. While the group is on their way to Tsunade Island, Yoshino informed Masa that she did research on Nico, but she didn't find any weaknesses and doesn't know why she's obsessed with him. He then assured her that Nico wouldn't be a problem because he only sought revenge on Adha. Yoshino then threatens him that if he doesn't do anything to Adha on their trip, she'll reveal everything to Adha. Outside the villa, the others were fascinated by the house, but Adha wonders where Midori is and explains that Midori is his father's secretary and came to become their chaperone. Midori then welcomed them, but she noticed Masa and asked Adha why she brought a guy. Masa immediately remembered what Yoshino told him, so he confidently announced that he was dating Adha. But he got hit by her, and she informed him that it was a big deal with Midori. But Midori assured her that it's fine, and she would be more worried about her still hating men today. Adha then grabs Masa while Midori is irritated by it. Masa then realized that Adha likes to keep up her appearance with the girls, so he got lucky that Midori wasn't harsh. Adha then informs him that they will only stay together as a couple on the island. At the beach, Masa starts showing off his body, but no one notices besides Kaju, who informs him that he's wearing a shirt to avoid sunburn. Nico agreed with Kaju and asked Masa to apply a lotion to her, but he's worried that Midori might see them. Suddenly, Adha intervened and asked Nico to stop because Masa is currently dating her, and if Midori sees it, she might get a bad idea about Masa and Nico. Nico then agreed to comply with her request, so Adha then grabbed Masa while Midori observed them. The two were finally alone, but she commanded him to grab food for her, so he asked what happened to their acting. She explains that they don't have to since no one can see them. At the villa, he asked Midori for Ota's meal. He then asked if there was anything fun to do on the island, so she suggested he go to a men's club, but he clarified that he's asking something for a high schooler. She then suggested a test of courage. He recalls that Ota can't handle something scary, so he plans to use it to make a move on her. After it, he bid farewell to Midori, but she actually doesn't like him. The year she was hired as a secretary, she noticed Ota crying and found out that the boy she always played with had left her. Since then, she grew up hating men, and it gives Midori entertainment. However, Masa arrived. At night, the group went to the place that Midori recommended, and they started deciding who was going to go first. However, Masa already rigged the order of who's going first, so when it's Ota's turn and she can't move from being scared, he will come to save her. Meanwhile, Midori was also inside and planned to scare Masa so that if Ota saw his scared face, he would break up with him. However, she got scared by Yoshino wearing a mask, so she immediately ran away and ended up scaring Ota. Masa heard Ota crying and came to her, but he noticed a girl wearing a mask and realized it was Midori. After that, Masa carried her on his back and informed her that he had asked Yoshino to scare others but didn't know Midori was also participating. He then revealed that he's actually not dating Ota and that he only did the test in order to show off to her, but he ended up hurting Midori. She then realized that Masa was actually a good guy. At the yacht, Masa was down after not getting any results, but Yoshino then informed him that his plan wasn't bad, and it's a good thing Ota was able to confront Nico. So Yoshino decided not to tell everything to Ota. Masa had just finished working out when he got a call from Ota. He immediately thought it might be a trap, but he still answered. Later, he met with Yoshino and informed her that Ota had called him to give back his stuff that he left on the island. So he thought that his plan for the island had worked out, but Yoshino reminded him to be careful with his moves. At home, he decided to study when he noticed that the picture was missing from his drawer, so he immediately speculated that it might be Nico who stole it. The next day, Ota gave him his stuff and informed him that she was actually planning to just deliver it, but Midori made her do it herself. Ota continues talking to him about T's invitation to swim, but he's not listening and is only thinking about Nico's reason for stealing the photo. So Ota was pissed about it and decided to leave him. He then realized that what Yoshino warned him about had just happened. Suddenly, he got a call from Nico, who asked him if he was also going to T's invitation, but he instead asked where she was and asked her to meet up. So he went to Nico's house. Inside, she offered to prepare tea and asked his reason for visiting. So he answered that he was just around the area and decided to check on her. He then asked for the bathroom, but he actually looked for her room. After entering the room, he accidentally slipped and found the medicines, so it's really Nico's room. He also saw her romance books. Suddenly, Nico showed up, reminded him that the tea was ready, and asked if it was hard to find the bathroom. She then noticed the book and informed him that after she saw it in his room, she made Shidu purchase it. He then asked her if she had taken a photo of his room. She then revealed that she did it because she thought he looked cute, but he disagrees and says that he's fat there. However, she assured him that appearance didn't matter and kissed him. He then tells her that if Shidu sees them, they'll get into trouble, but she assured him that Shidu was at the main house doing work. He then thought that everything might not really matter anymore, including his revenge. However, he remembers Ota's face and asks Nico if she experienced getting her stuff stolen from her by the bullies, and getting others close to him because he's rich. He doesn't think she's like them, but he also knows that she actually doesn't like him. So he explains that he doesn't want to go any further with someone who's not actually serious. She then asked if he was going to choose Ota, so he answered that it was his revenge. Nico then wondered if what she felt was what they call heartbreak. The next day, the group meets together, but they notice that Masa looked in bad shape. Kaju then informs them that they're only waiting for Nico, so Masa immediately thought about how to face her, but T informed them that Nico wouldn't be coming. The group then goes to a pool resort to have fun, but Ota notices Masa is busy thinking about something. After that, Masa noticed that Yoshino was alone, so she explained that the others are in the bathroom while Ota is eating ice cream. She then questioned what happened yesterday, but he only thought that he pissed off Ota. The others then arrived, so they decided to go home. But Shidu showed up and confronted Masa, because Nico is missing and she didn't take her medicines for seizures with her. Masa then realized that the blood in her medications were all true and not lies. Shidu questions what he did with Nico because she found out that he visited the apartment yesterday. He then revealed that he declined her because he chose Audha. Audha then volunteered to look for Nico with the others, so she asked Shidu to take them near the apartment and let those who couldn't fit in the car go with Masa because he already knew where the place was. Inside the car, T proposed that since Nico doesn't have her wallet with her, she might be staying near the apartment, where she could stay for a while. So they started looking inside the mall and park, but they didn't see her. Meanwhile, Masa decided to go to school and accidentally bumped into Audha, who also had the same idea, since the school might be the only familiar place to Nico. He then tells her that he thought that Audha didn't like Nico, but she explained that she still doesn't like her even now, but she felt bad for him because he rejected her, and she understands that having someone you like look the other way is a sad thing. He then had no idea how to take her words because he knew that she was also notorious for rejecting other guys. He then asked her if she remembered the nickname Pig's Foot. However, he was hit by a paper plane and realized that Nico was also reading the Rose-Eyed book. In the book, the heroine went to the rooftop and threw her love letters, which she turned into paper planes after getting rejected by her senpai. Masa immediately went there and confronted Nico, so she answered that she felt like he was going to come, but he explains that he doesn't have the strength to do it like the heroine. Suddenly, she fainted, so he asked Audha to call for Shidu. At the hospital, Shidu informed them that Nico was already stable, but she also wants to talk with Audha alone. Meanwhile, Masa started blaming himself for what happened to Nico, and regretted not giving her a proper answer. Suddenly, he was called out by Audha, who informed him that Nico wanted to talk with him next. Inside, Nico tells him that she wants to talk about the past. She's a popular student at her school, and everyone wants to be friends with her. However, her condition always prevents her from having fun with them. One day, her grandfather informed her about a surgery overseas. She agreed to do it, but she requested that she experience falling in love. Masa then asked why, so she answered that she just randomly chose his photo from potential suitors. He then realized that it was his mom's doing. He then asked about her experience, and she answered that she thought they were alike, because he talked about love for the purpose of his goal. But in the end, her lies were discovered, and her feelings didn't reach him. However, she doesn't regret it because she was able to experience all of it firsthand. She then informed him that after she regains her strength, she'll be going far away. That's why she thanked him for the memories. Meanwhile, T wondered what Nico and Masa were talking about, so she revealed to others that she also liked Masa. But it was better that she kept her feelings inside because she was able to hang out with them. She then wondered what Audha felt after Masa told her that he liked her. But Yoshino explained that it might be because she can't hold back anymore. Finally, Masa got out, but he just ignored Audha when she approached him. Meanwhile, Shidu informed Nico that her classmates had already left and asked if it was okay to let Masa go. She answered that it was fine because what he said was true, and he also made her remember the first time they met. On his way, Masa worries about what Nico told him about lies getting discovered in the end. However, he still decided to continue his plan of making Audha fall in love with him and dump her after. Back at home, Audha remembers what Nico told her about stopping denying Masa's love for her, because he's actually sincere. She then wondered if she should like him, but she started thinking that if it's love, her definition of love is her childhood friend Masa's chubby cheeks and tummy. Suddenly, she heard someone. She questions the person and notices that he looks like her childhood friend, and the guy revealed that he's Masa.